Okay, so now we just turn on the pump, and I still have this valve in the position to pull from my main tank, not yet from the antifreeze jug. So we got the low points drained off, we got the hot water tank bypassed and drained out. We should be ready to start pumping antifreeze. So you turn the pump on, turn on the water. This is what's left out of the lines. And you just turn your, check for a leak first of all. Want to make sure there's no water that's gushing out of there. I don't see any. Now you can just go in and turn your bypass valve. Now you're pumping antifreeze. You hear that pump kick off, it's because it's pressurized, the same as if it was pulling from your tank. So then you can go back, check for leaks. With antifreeze, it's pretty easy to see if it's leaking because you're going to have red stuff wherever it's dripping. Water, it might not be so easy to see it. Looks like we're okay on the leaks. So this is our cold water. I've got antifreeze, and it's alright to let that run down in the drain because you have J-traps. You got J-traps in here. Right here, they call that a J-trap. That holds water in it. It helps keep the odor from coming back up into your, coming out of your holding tank, your gray tank, back into your RV. So that will fill with water and can freeze and bust in the winter. So that's the hot water. So now we'll go into the bathroom sink. I got paint coming, so I'll shut it off. Turn on the cold. Paint coming, shut it off. And there's how much antifreeze we've used. We've used about a half a gallon. And I still have the shower and the toilet to do. So you can hear the pump running and you're not getting any antifreeze. You don't want your pump to run dry too long. So if you can't get your hose down in there, shut your pump off for a second. That's why this one's half empty, because once it gets to that point, the fact that this hose has stayed curled up for so long, it takes a minute to get it unwound and straight. I've seen some people tape them to like a small rod and then stick it down in there so that it stays even, and that's a pretty good idea to do that. I've seen people tape it to spatulas, anything to straighten out this hose. Turn the pump back on. You get some air in it. If you get some air in it, you're going to have a little bit of some priming to do to get it moving again. I think the bulk of this is that the hose is just really curling up. So we got all the antifreeze ran through all the lines, the outdoor kitchen, the toilet, the bathroom sink, the tub shower, and the kitchen sink. There is, what I'm getting on a lot of that sputtering is this hose is curling as I'm pushing it down in there, so it's not being very cooperative trying to get the antifreeze out of the jug. But again, taping that hose onto a maybe a long flat piece of metal or something to get it down in there and keep it straight should help. I said I got tub and shower, but I actually did not run any through the shower head. And I don't think there's any water in there because we haven't used the shower in here, but just to be sure. Make sure that you run it through that. Now that I'm done, pick this hose up out. There's a little bit of residual antifreeze that's in that line. Turn your pump off. Now we started with about 2.5 gallons. I got a half gallon left, but what I'm going to do with that half gallon for those J-traps, just want to pour some right down in all the sinks. Into the tub. And the outdoor sink. That'll be enough to keep those J-traps from freezing up. And then what I have left, pour it all into the commode. sometimes they want most people put like a whole gallon into their black tank or their gray tank. That way if there's any residual water in there, it doesn't freeze, and that's fine. But your drain is 1.5 inches on your sinks where you go to your termination cap, and I don't think a little bit of residual water in there is going to freeze up enough to bust it, but dumping antifreeze down there will dilute it enough that it shouldn't freeze. But last park we left, we just flushed the tanks real good, and then when I got back here, I stuck a bucket underneath of the termination end and let any residual water, and it was all clear at that point, go into the bucket so I didn't have any water build up to freeze those pipes. So what I'll do next is I'll level the RV, put the jack stands down, put the tire covers on, and then that'll be it for my winterization. One other thing I do is I just take some paper towels and then wipe up any residual antifreeze that lay down into the sink basins and into the tub, because it does have a tendency to stain a little bit, which makes you want to scrub when you de-winterize and start your new camping season. You find yourself for, you know, half hour, 40 minutes scrubbing up those stains, getting them out of there. A lot easier while they're still wet to just go ahead and wipe them up. And you can use some Windex also, wouldn't hurt to make sure you get it all sopped up. So everything inside is put back together now. And putting this in, I noticed when I looked under the sink here, there's a couple items that we forgot. It was the Windex and the stainless steel cleaner. You don't want to leave anything in your RV through the winter that's going to freeze up. If it's going to freeze, it's going to probably bust, and then when it warms up, you're going to come back in the summertime with whatever that item is all over your floor. A lot of cleaning solutions my wife wants to leave in here, but really can't. Same as the off spray we use in the can, Lysol in the can, air freshener. You don't want to leave that stuff in your RV because it's just going to freeze up and bust. When we went camping this last trip, the fireplace worked awesome. It got to about 40 degrees, and it ran it on low, and it stayed a toasty 73, 74 in here the whole time. I mean, you could open the door and feel the cold air coming in. Never had to use the furnace. Actually got to the point where my son had hit a button and pushed this up to 80, and it wouldn't kick off because it was trying to heat it up to 80, and it was probably a good 77 to 79 in here. It was extremely warm, so I have no doubt that's definitely going to pay off. No more wasted space. Above that, that's where the TV is, and that swivels. So the TV right now is facing into the bedroom. I measured that out, and I think I'm going to go to a thrift shop maybe and get a picture and hang on it so it has some type of something other than just a black square. Hang a nice picture on it, or if you wanted to, you could put you some family pictures on there. That way when it's swiveled around to the bedroom, you can have something to look at besides that. As far as the remotes go, it was sit it here, maybe fall in the sink. Sometimes we leave soapy water in the sink to dip dishes and wash dishes as we go a little bit. There was really no place to put it. I'd set it up here on this ledge and then swivel this around, knock them on the floor. I didn't want to keep opening this and closing it to put it in there. There wasn't really any place on the couch. I mean, I stuck them on the armrest here a little bit, and then when you stretch out, they fall off, and you need a central location so that you're not looking all over the place for your remotes. And I got these remote holders on Amazon. This is actually 2 of them. There's 3 on here and 3 on there. This is for the outdoor temperature. 67 outside, 67 inside. We just take that, sit it on like one of the tires where it's not in the direct sunlight, and it lets us know what the outdoor temperature is. These are the 2 remotes for the LED lights and the drive stereo system. That's for the Roku. This is the fireplace. That's the TV, and then this is the direct TV and TV. Good thing about this remote is it has a lost remote button on the receiver. When you push it, that remote will start beeping and flashing, so it makes it easier to find. But I thought that was just a great idea, to have some place centralized to put the remote, so I wouldn't end up losing them, because there was a couple of times it fell down onto the dinette. Sat it here and it fell down there. Took a minute or two to find it. It was pretty annoying. So that's another simple little mod. Then the remote that came with it, I didn't get a holder for it. All I got was the remote. This is all that I got, and this will work the slides. So I'm going to go to, I need to get my slide 2. Because I haven't yet put in those baggage doors outside to get my tire covers. I'm gonna have to push this slide out and get underneath of the storage area there where I keep the tire covers. So I wanted this remote. Usually I just kept it here. I just throw it in there, and then got the charger so I can plug it in and charge it through here when I'm at the campground. This battery seems to hold a really good charge. I've not charged this thing but one time, and I don't use it every day considering, but it seems to do really well. I wanted something so that when I was outside and the steps were up and I wanted to push the slide out, I wanted this so I wouldn't have to come up onto the steps and get up here to operate the slides. So I got this cradle that holds it, and to get that you need to call LCI Lippert Components Incorporated. It's $8.51. The item number is 331553. The shipping was like $7, or maybe it was $13 or something. It was absolutely ridiculous to ship that little piece of plastic, is all that is. I tried RV places and there wasn't any. I mean, that's all you get. You don't even get screws. You get that little piece of plastic. $8.51. Isn't bad at all, but the shipping on it was completely ridiculous. Their phone number is 574-537-8900. So just call them and tell them you want part number 331553 that holds the little remote control to the RV, and they'll take your payment and check your shipping, and you can pay for it. I got it, I think the turnaround time it was saying was like it shipped in 5 days, and I actually got it in 5 days, so I guess it depends on how many orders they have at the time. So this is it, all winterized. The only thing left is to get a cover the whole RV. Those are between $300 and $900 usually, so I want to do some shopping around, see if I can get the best value I can. I'd actually like one where you can unzip it and go in and out of the doors if you need to get in there through the winter. Jack stands are down, battery disconnect is turned off, tire covers are on. And that is my winterization.